All right, so we are now able to record the session. So I'll just share my screen and we'll start. So hopefully you are able to see my screen. I am currently sharing my screen and we have a new Excel open. So let me know if you're able to see the screen.
Yes, Pankaj, we can see your screen.
Okay, excellent. So to begin with, quickly, what we learned yesterday was about a company, the entities that are involved in a company, customers, suppliers, production plant, distribution centers, warehouses, etc. And then we went on to understand some of the fundamental processes that happens within a company, which includes buy, make, transfer, and sell. And then we also looked at how these different fundamental basic processes are connected by finance and planning. We also talked about supply chain planning and post planning, how it is getting executed, and then both of them together makes supply chain management. So supply chain management includes supply chain planning as well as supply chain execution. So this is what we learned yesterday. Then we went on to talk a little bit of the details of planning, and we talked that planning can be majorly categorized into two parts. One was demand planning, which is where we just touched upon forecasting. So the forecasting being one of the part in demand planning process. And then we talked about supply planning, which is where we saw at a very high level how the forecast number triggers into a supply plan, which means generation of stock transfer equations, planned orders, and purchase equations for different type of materials at different location. So this is what we talked yesterday. We also touched upon high-level planning strategies, which is MTO and MTS. We understood MTO is more about doing a planning and execution for those cases where we get a sales order first, and then we go on with the planning and execution for getting the material produced. However, in MTS, which is make to stock, we don't wait for the sales order to come in to trigger the planning and execution process. Rather, we predict the future sales order in terms of forecast, and that drives our transfer, buying, and manufacturing processes. So those were two planning strategies about which we discussed yesterday. And we also a little bit talked about the consumption-based planning, which I didn't go much in detail because it can be confusing for those who are new to the planning concepts. And we talked more about the forecast-driven planning, where we calculated the forecast for the finished good at the distribution center, and then we saw how that drives the requirement of finished product and other raw materials across the supply chain. So this was the fundamental concepts that we discussed yesterday. Now today we are going to talk about the SAP tool where we perform all these business processes, which is essentially the supply chain planning and supply chain execution. So so SAP has multiple products, as we know. Two of the products, one product is S4 HANA, which is an execution system, which means we create sales orders, production orders, stock transfer orders, etc., etc. All these orders are being created in your execution system, which is our S4 HANA. Another complementary product that SAP offers for planning is SAP IBP, and this is the tool that we use for planning purposes. And we have talked about what is the meaning of planning. So in this Excel or in today's session, what we are going to learn is we are going to talk a little bit about the SAP IBP tool and the product and the features that it offers. That is one. And secondly, we are going to talk about the fundamental configuration model that we need to do in SAP IBP, which will help us to perform many of these planning tasks that we talked yesterday. So demand planning, supply planning, inventory planning. So all these features, when we want to perform in IBP, there is a basic configuration model that we need to build, and we'll try to learn today how we build that configuration model. Okay, so that is the agenda for today, and then we'll start now with about talking about SAP IBP. So I have written some salient points here, and more I will tell you where to go and how to learn more about this. So as we know, SAP IBP is SAP's planning product. It has the functionalities that were earlier supported by SAP APO. Now in APO, we had four modules: demand planning, supply network planning, uh, PPDS, and GATP. When these functionalities migrated from APO to these products, the demand planning and supply network planning functionalities got migrated to IBP, whereas the PPDS and GATP functionalities of APO were integrated to S4HANA. Okay, so at a high level, you can understand how the APO functionalities are migrating to these products of SAP. Now, when they build IBP, so they included the demand planning and supply network planning functionalities or features of APO, but APO was lacking few of the modern planning concepts. So demand sensing is a feature that was missing in APO. So that is a new feature that SAP has provided in IBP. Also inventory planning or safety stock generation was very rudimentary in APO. So there was a third-party product called SmartOps. So SAP bought that product SmartOps that was used for inventory planning, and then in IBP they integrated SmartOps, and it is known as inventory. So these are a few modules which we are going to talk about now, which is being supported in IBP. So all in all, SAP IBP is the planning module of SAP, in which there are a few features that we'll talk, and the results and the output of SAP IBP goes back to S4HANA, and then those results, which is essentially nothing but your stock transfer requisition, planned orders, and purchase requisitions, those gets converted into corresponding execution orders, which means you create PO, production orders, and STOs in S4HANA, and then you perform the execution. SAP IBP is on cloud platform. There is no on-premise version of it. So unlike to S4, you will not have a SAP GUI in your laptop or in your machine. We only have a Fiori app, and then we have Excel interface, which we'll see. So that's it's a cloud platform based, and it does not have any on-premise version. So that is your SAP IBP. There is a quarterly release that comes every quarter. Currently, so normally on 29th so 29th of July we got the latest release, that is 2008. So every 3 months we get a new release. So the next will be 2011, and that will come 3 months from July. If you add, that will be 29th of that month. So largely around that time the new release comes up. So that's how the newer releases of IBP comes into picture. Now if we look at the different if we broadly classify SAP IBP, so there are three buckets in which SAP broadly classifies it. One, they call it time series based planning. Okay, the second one is known as order series based planning, and third is reorder based planning, which is DDMRP. So they have broadly classified the IBP functionalities into these three buckets. Okay, uh, and then within time series, we have certain modules called sales and operation planning, demand, so IBP demand, IBP inventory, and then within SNOP you have demand review, time series supply planning, shelf life planning. Within demand you have forecasting, then you have demand sensing, and then within inventory there is an inventory optimization, which is multi-level MEIO, so multi-echelon inventory optimization. So these are some of the features that is being supported in time series based planning. Now, similar to this, we have another bucket called order series based. So there is only one module that is within order series based, which is called response and supply. So it has constraint forecast run. It does the order sales order confirmation. So there are a few features that is being supported by this module. And the third one, planning. It's a new concept which is similar to consumption based planning, and these days it is getting accepted in market a little bit more than earlier. So while we have these so many different functionalities and features within IBP, in our training we are going to cover these two modules. So one is your demand planning. So I'm highlighting in red color. So within demand planning, we'll be talking about forecasting processes, and then in supply planning, we'll be talking about time series supply. So rest of the things which we are not going to talk, if needed, we'll be conducting more sessions here to talk about the remaining modules within IBP, or else if you happen to work in IBP in project, then you will get exposure to the subsequent modules that we have. I'll take a pause and I'll ask if there is any question with it.
Hello,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yes.
Rakesh this side. My
Yeah, Rakesh.
question is here in time series based planning,
Yeah.
we have discussed about inventory, uh,
Yes.
and on other side we have reorder point planning.
Yes.
So, does these are similar to each other? Because in reorder point planning, this is also the same thing. In inventory, in material master, we are providing the reorder point, and uh, then automatically like order like PR is getting created uh, due to that. Does these same thing inventory and reorder point planning?
Yes, very good question. And you are partially right. Both of them does calculate the inventory levels. However,
Yeah.
the difference is that in this time series based planning, the process flow starts with demand planning. So you generate a forecast, then you pass on that forecast to this inventory planning module, and this module, what is this? Annotation request. Shall I approve it? And approve the shared content. I don't know. Okay. So in time series based planning, we first do the forecasting for our finished products. Then we pass on that forecast to inventory optimization module, where we calculate the safety stocks. Okay. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Safety stock level. And then the third step is that we pass on this forecast and safety stock to this module called time series supply. And this third module generates the supply elements, which is STR, planned order, and PX. Okay, so this is three-step process in time series. However, in
Okay.
DDMRP, all the three things happen within the same module. Okay, and this is consumption based, while this is forecast driven. So that's the difference. In this DDMRP also, we generate a different type of safety stock, which they call it buffer. So that's a different
Mm-hmm.
terminologies that we follow over here, but they are similar in the way that they generate the similar elements.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we'll now move on, and I will take you to Google Chrome, and some of the participants asked me yesterday about documentation on IBP. So I will show you how to search. Everything is available online. It is free and it is very nicely structured. Okay, so you can now follow me. How do you reach to that place? So in the Google, you just write SAP IBP help. Okay, so when you do that, this is where you will reach here. So if you click on this, it will take you to this portal. So that's the standard SAP's help site. Now you will see here, these are the versions. Okay, so right now it has 4 versions in all, and this is how it comes. So 1911-02. So these are the months names. Okay, kind of. So 8th is the August month. So on 29th July we got this version 2008. Similarly, the next one will be 2011. So on 29th of October probably we will get the 2011 version. So you will see the versions over here. Okay, now in this page, you have all the information that you need to know, including the roadmap. Roadmap has the information about what are the new features that are going to get added in 2011 or in 2102. So all those things are there in the roadmap. If you go to the implement section, you have a model configuration guide, which is what we are going to learn today. So you can open it in a new tab, and also you can download it in a PDF. So it's a if you download it in the PDF, it is a 308 pages document, and you can use it for your purposes. Okay, so this we are going to learn today. So this is already available free for everyone. So this is first one. So model configuration guide. Then there is a sizing guide. So there is a SAP note in which SAP tells how do you size an IBP system. So there is an Excel in which you need to provide the information. It will give you 4 terabyte, 6 terabyte, etc. So you can size the IBP with this. Once you understand this, then there is some best practices. So all these things are there, but more important is this application help. Okay, so this application help is going to give you the business perspective of IBP. So what are the different processes? And before that, one thing that I wanted to mention was, first of all, it gives you the license related information. So within IBP, there are multiple modules as we have seen, and within those modules, there are different licenses. So for you, it may not be that much important for now. What is important is that, so this is not about license. The license was somewhere else. This was about what has new come in the newer version, applications and features of SAP IBP. I think these were the licenses will be there. So, okay, so these are the different licenses. So if somebody asks you, is SAP IBP one license? The answer is no. Customers can buy these individual licenses for the relevant features. So as we have seen, sales and operations, demand, response and supply, inventory, demand driven replenishment, control tower. So these are the various licenses, and in each of these licenses, what are the features that are also all listed here. So you don't need any other documentation except going to this site and reading it. Everything is here in this site, and whatever you need for SAP IBP. Okay, so that is one thing on this application help. And then the most important of all is the business application, which is where SAP explains the business relevance of all the modules. So if I just click on this demand planning, because we have talked a little bit about this demand planning, so it is going to tell you the overall process, that there is statistical forecasting, demand sensing, and we are going to talk about all this tomorrow because we are going to cover demand planning. But for now, you should understand that we have this SAP help website where we have everything that we need to know about SAP IBP. Okay, so this is the standard SAP site. Along with this, there are many Wikipedia pages, there are many LinkedIn sites, LinkedIn articles where you can learn and understand a little bit more about IBP. But what I refer to learn IBP is these websites, because this is the unadulterated version of what SAP wants to talk about IBP, and hence this is very useful. All right. So you need to, and you will see that in my favorites, I have got the model configuration, I have got the IBP application help, and all this have their own versions here. So you can ensure that while you're reading the documentation, you are reading the latest version. Okay, going back to our Excel again. So using those, you will be able to learn the content of IBP. Now, I had requested yesterday to provide some details so that your IDs can be created. Thanks to Praveen, we have got the IDs created for those who have got the request till this morning. So you might have received an email for your ID. And then we will see, I will share this link. This is the link. If you click this link, it takes us to our BirdlaSoft SAP IBP environment. So let it open. So it takes us here. It may ask for email ID and password. So you will have got the email if your ID is already created. So your BirdlaSoft ID is your email ID, and there will be a password which you can change once you log in, and then you can just remember me and then log on to the system. So this is what is called Fury app, and that's the landing page for all of us. There is no SAP GUI that we used to have been working to. So these are all apps. In these apps, we have many things, and one of the things in this is model configuration, which is what we are going to learn today. And along with model configuration, we have order-based planning, demand planning, etc., which we'll learn as we go ahead. So today we are going to talk about model configuration, and before we start that, let me explain you what does this model configuration mean, and why it is needed. So model configuration is nothing but the basic infrastructure that we need to build in IBP so that we can perform demand planning or supply planning or any other modules inventory planning that we have seen, and which is why this is the most fundamental configuration that we need to perform. Okay, in order to do the model configuration, we need to go through this model configuration documentation that we have seen. So my recommendation to all of us will be to go through these documentation whenever you get time. Obviously, when you are going through this documentation for the first time, 80% things you will not understand, which is absolutely okay. You need to go through this once. Whatever you understand, you follow it, and then you need to go through once again and again to increase your understanding of this documentation. Okay, so with that background, let me open one of the PPT that I created, which is 18 pages PPT, and it has very high level configuration details that we perform when we do the model configuration in IBP for the first time. Okay, so it has two parts. One is building block 1, which is where we are going to talk about attributes, master data types, time profile, time periods, creating planning area, and assigning attributes. And the second will be building block 2, where we will be talking about planning levels, attribute as key figures, version, and planning operators. At this point, you may not understand anything out of this, which is absolutely okay, because this is what we are going to learn now. Okay, so I'll move on, and we are going to now define some of these new elements that has come up. So first one is attribute. Now An attribute is nothing but it's a field in your, and I assume most of us in this meeting are from ECC and S4 background. So you can understand attribute as an individual field that is used for planning purposes. So the example of this can be, if you think of material master, we have one field called MRP type, or there is another field called lot size. So all such one field in our material master or in our customer master. So in our master data, when you see those fields within that master data, those individual fields are converted into attributes in IBP. So that is the meaning of attribute. So hope this is clear. So you will be able to visualize what is an attribute. The second one is called master data type. Master data type is nothing but very similar to master data that we have in R3, in S4 or ECC. So we have customer master, we have material master. So if we just focus for now on material master, so we have various tabs within material master. So a master data type is very similar to a master data in S4, which is a combination of attributes. So in this case, if I read the definition that is written here, a master data type is grouping of attributes. I explained that attribute is nothing but an individual field in your material master or a customer master. So if you look at your S4 material master, then material master in S4 is nothing but the grouping of those fields, because it has several fields within itself. So similar to that, your master data type is nothing but the grouping of the attributes. So the example is, if you have a product master data type, it will have attributes called product ID, product description, product family. So there are multiple attributes which will be all coming together to make one master data type. So that is your master data type. Now time profile. Time profile is a time period in which planning can be managed in one planning area. For now, you just understand that a time profile is an entity that tells whether my planning is going to happen in monthly bucket or weekly bucket or daily bucket or a combination of all of these. So we create a time profile to tell IBP that I am going to perform my planning, let's say, only in weekly and monthly bucket. So my time profile will only have week and month, but I can have another time profile where I mention I will also perform my planning in quarterly buckets and daily buckets. So time profile is an entity where we inform IBP that what is my time granularity in which I'm going to do the planning. So that's the purpose of time profile. The next one is planning area. Planning area is a very fundamental structure which combines all these things: attributes, master type, time profile, and then it provides the basic infrastructure where we can load data and we can process data to get the output that we need. So for example, we have been talking that we want to do demand planning, we want to do forecasting, and we understand in order to do forecasting, we need to have the history, and then we run an algorithm, and then we get the forecast. So planning area is the place which holds the data, which holds the historical data, which has the algorithms to generate new numbers in terms of forecast, and then it again holds the forecast number. So it's a holding place which combines all these configuration elements that we are creating, which is attributes, master data, and also the transaction data on which we are going to work. So that's the planning area. Planning level. Planning level is the combination of master data along with time profile. Okay, so it's the combination of attributes or master data and optionally with a time period. It's not mandatory. In some cases, the planning level can be without a time period. But one example I can give you is that yesterday we have seen that while I was working to generate the forecast, I was constantly telling that I am generating the forecast for a product at a location, because I was telling that for a same product, my forecast and number can be different at a different location. Okay, so the fact that I need to work with a data at a level which is product and location combination, I cannot generate the forecast for a product. If I do that, that will not give you the right picture as to what is the forecast for that product at a particular location, because location is important. So we need to decide that whatever planning function we are going to perform, at what level we want to do that. So forecasting I will do at product and location level. I may choose to do the forecasting at product and customer level. So the planning level indicates the combination at which a particular planning function is going to get performed. Okay, so that is your planning level. Key figure is nothing but you can imagine this to be a row of an Excel which holds the data. So I will have a key figure called sales history, where I will keep the sales history data. I will have another key figure called forecast, where I will keep the future predicted sales numbers based on the sales history. So key figure is the placeholder for keeping the transaction data. Uh, version is a technical term which you use to keep all this data together. Not very important at this point in time. Okay, I'll take a pause, and if there is any question anybody has, we can talk about that, or else we'll move ahead. Okay, no question. So this is now we're going to details. So attributes are characteristic of master type. We talked about this. You can visualize an attribute being one of the field in the material master or customer master in the S4 system. So so you will see this product ID, product description, etc. etc. Now I will go back to our Birlasoft IBP server. So this is the Birlasoft IBP server, and if I click on attribute, it takes me inside. You can see there are 493 attributes already available. So there are a lot of attributes that SAP has already provided from their side, understanding the fields that are available in S4 and otherwise also, because SAP has a lot of knowledge about what type of attributes can be there. So all these attributes that you see is coming is standard delivered attributes. Okay. So, but if I want to create a new attribute, I can create it like this. So new attribute, I click here, and then I put an ID. So I can put XPS. So while naming any new object that you are going to create in the system, please ensure that you name it in such a way that it always starts with X. Okay. And P is my first name. So Pankaj starts with P, and then the last name is Singh. So I use S. So use this prefix while you are creating any of the new configuration object in IBP system. So this is important. So please follow this discipline. So if I want to create a new attribute, so XPS and then let's say PRD ID. So I'm creating a product ID. The name I can give any name which is which makes some meaning. So product ID. Description, product ID. Now data type, whether it is character, integer, decimal, timestamp, etc. You'll have to tell, and then length, whether it is 40 character or whatever, and then you can save it. So this is how you can create an attribute. Attribute is the most smallest unit in the time series planning, and you can visualize this as one of the fields in your S4 system. So I'm not going to save it, but this is how you can create the new attribute. Okay, you will see all these are the attributes that has been created and delivered by SAP, and this one I can think that somebody has created because the name has test, etc. So somebody created this ID in IBP, and once you create it, it looks like this. Okay, so this is the attribute. Now you will go back to So within product, not within product. So this product ID, product description, these are all attributes. So you will see this is the attribute ID that is mentioned, and the data type is nav car, and then length was 20, 60, etc., etc. The next one is master data type. So master data type, it is the combination of multiple attributes. So in this case, this is the master data type called product. So this product has these many attributes, and when a master data type is created, we have to mention one attribute as the primary key. Okay, so you cannot create a master data type without making one attribute as primary key. What it means is, when you are creating a master data, you will have to have this product ID as a mandatory field to fulfill. We'll talk about that a little later. So I come back to the system once again, and the second tile or app is master data type. If I click on this, it takes us inside. System is a little slow. So again, similar to attributes, there are so many master type that has been provided by SAP. But if you want to create a new master data type, you can create it from here. Click on new, and then there are several types of master data. So one is simple, another one is compound, reference, external, and virtual. So I will not cover all of them, but we can talk about the first two. So a simple master data type is a master data type which has only attributes within itself. Okay. However, a compound master data type will have another master data type inside it. Okay. So we'll see one of the example of both of this. So the simple one. So this is a simple master data type. If I go inside this master data type, so you will see there are two attributes. So the master data type name is currency, and it has two attributes. One is currency ID and another is currency description. Out of that, currency ID is the key. So it is a mandatory field. So this is a simple master data type. Why simple? Because it has two attributes inside it, and both of them are attributes only. Now if I go back and if I look at one of the master data type, which is compound. So let me show. So this is a compound master data type. So let's go. So location product, for example. So let's go inside. So location product is a compound master data type, and it is made up of two master data type itself. So location and product. There are two master data type which are. So let me show it from here. So it has two master data types. So these are two master data types. So location and product. So if I click on this, it will take us to another screen where it will show what are the attributes of this. So location itself is a master data type which has these attributes: loc ID, geo attitude, etc., etc. So location is a master data type, and then again product is another master data type. This one, and both combined is making location product as master data. So a compound master data type is a master data type which has MDTs inside it, while a simple one has attributes only. Okay, so that is the second element within configuration. So attributes, we understood attributes, we understood master data type. So you can see it is the simple one in this slide, which is where we have only attributes inside that master data type. But this is the example of compound master data type, where you will see a customer product is the example of compound master data type, which has two master data within inside. One is the customer, another is product, and hence all the attributes which are associated with customer and product are available in this master data type. So
Hi Pankaj.
Yes.
Pankaj, Rakesh this side. I have a question. Can
Yes,
you come
please.
back to that Fury app of attributes and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
attributes?
Shall we go inside attributes?
Yeah, inside attributes.
Okay.
Uh, can you come down where we see? We can see this status. Status is active, and you have shown some IDs that someone has created.
Yes.
Started from BSL and all.
Yes.
Can you
Yes. Yes.
show me that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. This one.
Yeah. See, status of these IDs are inactive.
Correct. Correct.
May I know from where we can activate these things?
Yes. So as we move on, we will see that these attributes, and we have seen right now also, these attributes goes
Yeah.
into master data type, and those master
Mm-hmm.
data types will be assigned to a planning area. Okay, and then when it gets
Okay.
assigned to a planning area, and when we activate that planning area, automatically at that point in time, the master data type gets activated, and also this attributes gets activated. So so all these,
Okay.
yes, all these get active. So this one, which we are seeing as inactive, this indicates to us that this attribute is not used in any active planning area. It may be used in any one of the planning
Right.
area, but that is not active. So the moment you activate a
Got
planning
your
area,
point. Got it.
it becomes active. Okay,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Got your point.
sure. Yeah. Okay. So we understood attributes, we understood master data type, and now we move on to the next one, which is time profiles. Now you will see that this is, and whatever we are seeing is everything is available in the document that we have seen. This is that document, a model configuration. You will see attributes and lot of details. Everything is here, deleting, editing. So you will get all the details here. And the good part is that you just download a PDF in your laptop and you can go through it. Very easy to understand. Okay. So the things that we're covering in PPT are all coming from here. So the diagram that you're seeing in PPT right now has also come from here. So this is this diagram. Okay. So somebody has any question? If not, can you please go on mute? Okay. Right. So this is a time profile. As we mentioned that a time profile is an element where we want to tell that what are the time granularity in which I am planning to plan. So I will mention year, quarter, month, calendar week, technical week, day. So there is a difference between calendar week and technical week, which I'll talk right now. But a time profile will have these details, and then within a time profile, there are time periods. So what is the meaning of time period? So if my time profile has years, and if I say my time profile need to look 5 years back and 5 years in future, which means I will be working in timeline of 10 years. So I need to have placeholder to represents those years. So the time period ID, and if you don't follow everything right now, it's okay. A time period ID is the placeholder for those to indicate those years. So what will time period ID indicate is that year 1, year 2, so year 1 to year 10, I will have these time periods as placeholders, where year 1 indicates 2015, year 2 indicates 2016, year 3 indicates 2017. So while I work in a horizon of 10 years, 5 year past, 5 year in future, to indicate a particular year, I need to have a placeholder like Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. So I divide the entire horizon of 10 years into these 10 years, Y1, Y2, Y3, where the value of Y1 is 2015. Okay, so time period indicates the placeholder name, and the real value of that placeholder is indicated by the year number or the week number or the day number. Okay, so that's the time period. The time profile indicates what are the granularity in which we are going to work. Now, calendar week and technical week. The calendar week is your normal Monday to Sunday. Okay, so that indicates your calendar week. But sometimes what happens is when you are changing month, so from so if I look at this month, let's see this month. So you will see that the month is ending on a Monday. Okay, so if my calendar week is from Monday to Sunday, then my last week of the month actually ends on 30th, but then the 31st of this month goes to the next calendar week. So to avoid a confusion, this calendar week, so the next calendar week, which starts from 31 and ends on 5th or the 6th of the it gets divided into two technical weeks. So the first technical week represents the days of previous months, and the second technical week represents the days of the next month. So especially when the transition happens between 2 months, then the technical week comes into picture. And while the technical week represents just the number of days which belongs to first month and the number of days that belongs to second month. In rest of the cases, the technical weeks are similar to your calendar week. So the same thing we can see in this diagram also. It has to be read, but that is the meaning. You will see that 28, 29, 30, 31. These are the 4 days of previous months. So you will see this appearing in the technical week 13A, and then first, second, third is 13B. So both of these two technical week combine to make the calendar week 13. So what it means is calendar week 13 starts with the Monday, which is 28th, and ends with the Sunday, which is 3rd. But since it goes across 2 different months, so that's why we have to divide this calendar week 13 into 2 technical weeks. First one is 13A, which represents the days of first month, and then the 13B represents the second. Is that clear? Okay. Now, so that's the time profile. I will again come back here, and we'll go inside the time profile, and we'll show you one of the time profiles here. Again, there were few time profile that SAP delivered us, and then we created a few of the new ones. So one of this is time profile level KP80. So it is not Birlasoft also, it is long back it was created. So you will see here that this time profile has years, month, week, technical week, and days. It is working into in last 2 years, and future 2 years and past 2 years. So total 4-year horizon is in which it is working. And then that horizon of 4 years has different granularity. So you have yearly, so you will have 4 years. You have months, so you will have 24 months, 24 months in the past to 24 months in the future. So your time horizon is segregated in different granularity, as we have mentioned here. If there was no year mentioned here, then you cannot see or view the data in years. Then you can only see and view the data in these different ones that are maintained. So this is what is your time profile. This is how we maintain it. And the IDs, we'll see the IDs. Let us see who created this. So that was created by Vishwambar Panda, 30th August 2019. 1 year, last year it was created. Okay, so that is the third configuration object, along with what we have seen: attributes, master data type, and then the time profile. Now we come to the next one, which is the planning area. So planning area is the most fundamental, most important, most crucial configuration object that we need to create. And if I read the definition, it is a model entity that defines structure, forms the backbone of the planning process. A planning area consists of time profile, attributes, master data, planning levels, key field, etc. Okay, so we are going to go back to the system, and I will show you how do we create a planning area. Yeah. Go back and configuration. So there is a planning area model configuration here. So there are 22 planning areas already existing, and I click on this. By the way, those who have got the access are required to create a planning area, and hence you must ensure that you follow the nomenclature convention that I explained. Your planning area must start with X along with the initial of your name. Okay, that is very important because we want to have a track of what is being created during this training session. So please ensure that you all of you start your planning area with X. Okay. So this is where we come to create the planning area. So if I create a new, so it is asking for ID. So this is where you need to say XPS, and then you can tell XPS training. Okay. Or it only allows these many characters. So XPS train is the new planning area. Then you can say that planning area for Pankaj Singh, for example. Okay. Then you need to tell whether it is for supply planning or not, etc., which you may not know for now. So you can leave this as it is. Time profile, you need to select time profile if you're creating a planning area from scratch. Okay. So as we have seen earlier that there is a place where you go and create the time profile. So you need to create the time profile and you need to activate also. So once you activate it, then this will be available here and you can select that. So let me select one of them. So the moment I selected one here, it brings all the details that is associated with that time profile, and then the status is inactive, and then I click on save. So if I click on save, it will, so let me click on save for now. Okay, so the moment I clicked on saved, it has brought these different tabs. So earlier it was not there. After clicking on save, it brings these tabs. Now within my planning area, I need to tell what are the attributes that I want to use, product ID, product description, etc., etc. So depending upon the purpose for which I am creating this planning area, if I'm going to do demand planning, which means I need to have customer, which I need to have location, I need to have product. So all those attributes along with master data, I need to add it here. So in order to add the attributes, you just need to click here add, and then the attributes, master data, etc. that you have created will appear here. Obviously, if you have created the master data, it will appear as X. So it will be easier for you to find your attributes to be added here. So what you are seeing here is your master data, and within that you will find your attributes. So let me since I didn't create any attributes or master data in the morning, let me bring something that I created earlier. So BSL. So these are the attributes I created sometime back, and BSL customer. So if I want to select this into this planning area, I'll select this, I'll add, and this will start appearing in my planning area. So they are all here. Now you see the status is inactive. Once I am able to create all the things that are required for this planning area, I will go on activate it. And once I activate, so I will select full scope with dependencies. So that's the action, because when we say with dependency, it also look at the attributes and then it makes them active. So that is how all these IDs, attribute IDs will also get activated. So far so good. Any question in master data, I'm sorry, in planning area till this point? No question. Okay. So let me go back to the PPT. So you'll see when we create a planning area, it asks for name, description, time profile. You have seen time profile. Time profile has the storage time profile, which means which we have seen it has weekly, monthly. Planning horizon, we have seen within time profile, 2 year back, 2 year forward. List of selected attributes, master type, the original. So we have seen this many things right now in the system, how we create a planning area, and how when we save it after giving the time profile, it brings all the subsequent tabs in which we are going to maintain the information. So go to the next one. The next one is the planning level. So as we have discussed that depending upon the task that we are going to perform, we need to create the planning level. So when we create a planning level, let me read it out first of all. A planning level is a set of attributes or master data types that identify and label key figure values and forms the part of definition of planning area. This may not be understood by now by you right now. It's okay. Let's move on. The attributes that you have assigned to the planning area are available to form the planning level. So you cannot create a planning level using an attribute which you have not already assigned in your planning area. So you need to ensure that whatever planning level, whatever attributes that you're going to use for the planning level, those attributes are already added. Okay. So in this example, we are seeing that we are going to create a planning level called weak customer product. So if I want to create this planning level, I must have already added customer and product master data types. So if they are there, then I can create this planning level. So in this case, you will see that week. So I'm able to select week because week is already there in my time profile. And then from the product, I'm selecting product ID, and from customer I'm selecting customer ID, and they are called root. So there is a concept of root attribute. So when you create a planning level, you will have to mention the root attributes which are mandatory, and there are some non-root attributes which are non-mandatory. So there is a meaning associated with this, but for now you can just understand that when you create a planning level, all the attributes that are there in the planning level, you need to choose some of them as root and some of them are as non-root, and those which are roots are the mandatory attribute that needs to be filled when you're loading the key figures. So planning level will have root and non-root attributes. Root are necessary as key to identify the individual key figure values. Non-root are also associated with the key figure, but don't on their own uniquely identify what the key figure value is for. They can be thought as levels, hierarchies to aggregate the key figure values. We will understand all these things a little better as we progress, but for now you'll understand that a planning level is a combination of time granularity along with some attributes which will make the basis for key figures for storing data. Okay, so I will go back to this screen. I will come to here. So this is the planning level. In order to create, so let me add one more here. So BSL product. Sorry, it was searching. I need to search here. BSL product. So if I add this, now we have BSL product and okay, I didn't save that, so add BSL customer. Oh, it's already added. Okay, since I have not saved it, that's why it is not showing us right now. Let me. Okay, there is no need to save right now. Okay, if I create a new planning level, so it is asking for the time granularity. Okay, so you have to select here. So let's say technical week is what I select. I want to perform my planning at the technical week level. So then it asks for an ID. So we can put XPS planning level PL. Description same. So by default, it brings all this. Now, since I had selected technical level in the beginning, so it makes it as a root attribute. Rest of the time granularity also remains there, but they are non-root, which means we can aggregate the data that we will have at week, month, quarter, and year level. So the non-root attributes will be used for aggregation purposes, but technical week is my root attribute. Now here, the next attribute that we need to assign is here, and we'll have to select from, you can see, I can select this customer and product. So I can select that and add it here. So all those attributes are added here. And then out of these attributes, I need to select which one I want to keep as root. So customer ID and then product ID. So we keep it as root attributes and then save it. So if we do that, then, and let me save it for now. So this is the planning level, which means what? I want to do my planning at product customer level. Okay, so after saving, it looks like this. This is the root attribute, and this is the another root attribute for product ID. Now I can go back. Excuse me. So you can see, excuse me, you can see there is a planning level called XPSPL that I created just now. It has 3 root attributes. One was week, technical week, another was customer ID, and there was product ID. And it has 37 attributes coming from those master data that are inside. We'll move on. The next one. So similar to this, we can create multiple planning levels depending upon the purpose, and we'll understand the purposes as we go on. This is an example of how we create route at planning levels and what it means. So we'll understand this a little bit more as we move on. So we'll come back to this. So the next one is attribute as key figure. This is a special feature that we have in IBP. So you have seen that we got attributes created, which was product ID, product description, but we can have some attributes which are key figures, which means we can store data in those attributes which are not only one value, but it has multiple values for different buckets in future. Okay. One of the example that I can cite here is exchange rate. So you know that the rupee to dollar exchange rate for today is, let's say, 70. $1 means 70 rupees. But if we look at future from now, the value, the exchange rate can be different. Tomorrow it will be 72, day after tomorrow it will be 75 or anything. So so you can have an attribute called exchange rate, for which you want to store the values which are different in different days or different weeks in future. So all such attributes which can have different value associated with it in future buckets, we can make those as attribute as key figures. Another example can be safety days. You can have different safety days for future, and hence you can have that as attribute as key figure. So if you want to create a new, obviously similar to the other things, you can just click on create and then you put the attribute as ID as X, starting with X, etc., and you can create it. I'm not going into details of that. The next one is key figure, the most important of all. So we create key figure to store data, to store your transaction data. So if I want to perform forecasting, we all know that I need to have historical sales values. Okay, so we need key figure to store my historical sales data, And also when the algorithm runs, I need another key figure to store the value of the generated forecast numbers. Okay, so the key figures are those entities which has the capacity and capability to hold data, and we use those key figures for that purposes. So in order to create a key figure, and there are multiple type of key figures, so there are helper key figure, alert key figure, etc, etc. So we are not going to details of those, but we'll create a one key figure here, just to indicate what all different things that it requires while we create a key figure. Okay, now this is the ID, so obviously XPS KF1 is the first key figure that I want to create. Name, you can put, if it is going to store sales history, so you can put sales history here. If it is going to create forecast or keep forecast, you can put forecast as the name. So description is same. Now very important, you see base planning level. So you must tell that at what level this key figure is going to store the data. So that is what is the base planning level. So if you see here, since we have got only one planning level created in our planning area, that's why by default it is bringing it here. If we have multiple planning levels, then all of them will appear here, and you can select one of them. So right now, this key figure is getting created at this planning level, which is week or technical week, customer and product level. Okay, and there are few more features, whether it is stored, which means are you going to get data from outside and you are going to just store the data in this key figure, or this key figure will get the value by some calculation, if you can select calculation, etc. So there are a lot of details that we need to understand. For now, I'm not going to detail. And then how the disaggregation will happen, what is the disaggregation mode, etc, etc. So there are so many things. If it is a calculated key figure, you can write a calculation that whether it is going to get the value by looking at some other key figure. So all those calculations can be written here. It is very detailed. I'm not touching right now, but those details are obviously available in this document that we have seen, and you can go through this documentation to understand the details of how the calculations. So key figures, key figure calculations, lot of documentation is already here, and you can go through it to understand how you can write the key figure calculation, stored key figure calculation, etc, etc. So that is your key figure.
Pankaj, Vikas.
Yes. Yeah, Vikas.
So can we have more than one planning area for one business? And if yes, what is the base to calculate that? Okay, how many planning areas do we need to create into a system for a particular business, or like this means?
Good question, Vikas. Keep that with you for another 5-10 minutes. Once we complete this planning area configuration, come back to your question. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the key figure. We have seen how key figure is created, and now I can come back to this and I can show you. Let's understand this table. Okay, so if my key figure name was sales forecast, so when I was creating that key figure, I needed to tell that my key figure has a base planning level, which was at customer ID and product ID level. Okay, what it means is, in this key figure sales forecast, when I load the data that my forecast for week 1 is 10, week 2 is 20, I must tell that for which product and for which customer I am telling that the value is 10 and 20. So P1 C1 and key figure, the value is 10, 20, 30. But P1 C2, customer is C2. The same key figure value is 14, 16, 18. Okay. So that's why a planning level indicates the master data at which the key figure is going to save the data for. It may not be still very clear, but at least you are able to visualize that a key figure is associated with the planning level in this way, and then store the data in that way. Okay, so we move on. We understood the attribute as key figure. We talked about key figures, and there are many other type of key figures which I am not going to talk right now. because that may confuse us a little bit more. But for now, we understand a key figure that end user use in a planning view in an okay, that's fine. They are standard definition. Again, the screenshot of how we create a key figure. So we have just seen that we give the name, we give the planning level. In this case, you can see it is weak, prod, lock, cust. So there are three master data at which this particular key figure is defined. Okay, so you have multiple planning levels out of which you can select for your key figure that you are going to define. These are the characteristics, which means when the aggregation happens, it will sum or average. When the disaggregation happens, how it is going to happen. All those details we have to maintain here. Some key figures have calculations, which I'm not going to detail right now. But when we want to have a key figure, which will get the values based on the calculation from other key figures, we can write calculations. So there is a syntax which we need to follow when we write the calculations. We'll see tomorrow when we do the demand planning. I may come back and explain this a little bit more because we'll have some hands-on tonight, so we will have a little bit more understanding tomorrow. Another one is that while you're working with all this model configuration, going through the documentation, if some of the things does not make complete sense at that point in time, don't get stuck, move on, because you'll come back and you'll understand it even better. Okay, so that is one approach that I recommend always when we do the learning. Again, calculation, no problem. So with that, the calculation part of the planning area, I mean the key figure part of the planning area is explained. Next tab in the planning area is snapshot, which we are not going to talk right now, but the feature of this snapshot is that if you want to keep the backup of the key figures, because these key figures are dynamic, so you know when you run the forecast, you generate new number in the future. But if I want to understand what was my forecast last week, then I want to transfer the last week's snapshot into snapshot key figures. Okay, so we'll talk about that, but you just for now you understand this as the carbon copy of your data set at one point in time. So if you want to have a carbon copy, you create the snapshot and you keep it here. Version. This is one element which actually stores the data. Okay, so all these key figures are associated with the version. So you create a new version, which is so we call it baseline version, and then you can create a multiple version, and then within the version you mention which are the key figures. So basically, version is an entity that keeps the key figure values and it stores it stored it there. Okay, so that's version. I'm rushing it through because that is not very much important for now. It is very important as such, but not very important for now. The last one is planning operator. Now we have been talking about the purpose for which we are creating this planning area. So if I'm creating this planning area for forecasting purposes, then I will assign a planning operator called forecasting. Okay, so I will show you and we'll see that tomorrow that how planning operator is being assigned or used in a planning area. So for now here, if I want to assign one planning operator, so I'll click on add here, and it will give us all the options of the planning operators that are available here. Now for us to easily understand, I will show you. So these are all copy operators on the okay. Copy snapshot. There's nothing. Okay, this is only for okay. So at least this is a copy operator, which if I select, it will copy some value from one key figure to another key figure. There are snapshots. So if I want to do inventory optimization in my planning area, then I will select this algorithm. So this is a place where I select the operators, the algorithms, which I will be using in my planning area to generate. So if I'm going to do forecasting, I will have an operator that will help me to do forecasting, forecast error analysis, etc. etc. Okay, so that is how this planning area will get the operators associated with it, and then it will be ready for us to do the planning. Once we do all this, the next one is we do a check and then we activate it. So I'm not going to activate this planning area right now because I don't want to save it. And I think we have been talking for some time. We can take a logical break of 10 minutes at this point because we have created the plan. So that this PPT also gets completed. And then once we come back after 10 minutes, we will look at the SAP provided sample planning areas and also will answer Vikas' question that what is the recommendation about having more planning areas or less planning areas. And also I'll talk about the tasks that we are going to do in the hands-on today. Okay, so it is 11:52 right now. We'll take a short break of 10 minutes and we'll come back at 12 and then we'll talk about the remaining things in last half an hour. Okay, so we can have a break for 10 minutes now.
Just one quick question to everybody. Praveen here. So, did you guys get the?
Sorry. Okay. So let me go. Okay. So this is the RDS. In RDS, you need to come down, and before you come down, you have to log in. So I have logged in with my S user ID. If you have your S user ID, you need to log in. And then in this rapid deployment solution, which is being provided by SAP, this also gets updated with every release. Okay, so we have 2008 and 2005 here right now. You come down, and if you in fact you just click on accelerators, it brings you down here, and then if you come a little bit more down, there is technical assets for SAP IBP 1. Okay, this is for IBP 1 means time series based, SAP 7 is order series based, and SAP 8 is DDMRP. So we have seen these three buckets. So SAP has provided us these three technical assets. So if I click on this, it downloads that zip file. Okay, so see, it is getting downloaded here, and this is nothing but this zip file that we have seen here. So these are the three zip files that I have downloaded from there. And within this zip file, so if I go to SAP IBP 1, which is for time series based planning, it has sample master data. So these Excel files are there. It has key figure data. These are the Excel files. And it has planning views, which are templates, which I'll show you maybe tomorrow while we learn. And then it has some analytics, which we will see a little later. Now, let me show you the master data. Let me show you one product master. So this is a product master data. So what we do is we load this file to that planning area in the master data type. Okay, so this product master file has product ID. So we have been talking about this product IP 100. So this is a product ID, this is a product description. It belongs to this family, subfamily, brand, etc. These are all attributes, all of them together, and this file, it represents the master type called product. Okay, so that is the meaning of so these are all master data types, and within this we have the data and also the attribute for which we have data in this. So this is how so these files gets loaded. So tomorrow how we load it, but in our projects what we do is we create the copy of this unified planning area, which I will do it tomorrow, and then we load the data not from the Excel. in our projects, we connect it to S4, and then from S4, we bring all those data which we are seeing, which we saw just now in the Excel. Instead of Excel, we bring it from S4 using CPI DS, and then our planning area keeps those data with us, within inside it. And then last thing before we close today's this one, all of us need to have, how it will go up. Okay, so all of us need to have this IBP add-on installed in your Excel. Okay, for that to happen, you need to create a ServiceNow request today itself, because it goes for approval to your manager, then he takes some time, and although all of those things happens. So after this call, please create a ServiceNow request. In the description, just write install SAP IBP Excel add-in. That much will be sufficient. And then it will ask for approval. They will assign it to your manager. You will see the name there, and then you do the follow-up and get it approved. Once it is approved, then the ServiceNow person or the technical person will contact you, and he will ask for a file. That file is already uploaded by Praveen on one of the team meeting sites. I think we'll share the link for that, so that you will be able to get the file, installation file for this Excel add-on. Okay, so then that IT person will take that, and he will install this in your machine, and then this will appear here. Once this appears, then we can click on the logon, and we need to add some details here, which I will show you tomorrow how to add that. But for now, it will come like this, and then when we log into this, it takes us inside, and this is the main interface of IBP on which the planner work. So I will just show you in next 5 minutes, because we have 5 minutes left, that once everything happens, what is the end point where we see the data and how it works. So this is the point where we reach ultimately. So let it load. So this is the IBP screen, Excel interface, and these are some of the templates that I created. So this screen that you see right now is associated to one planning area, and in that planning area, I am going to do demand planning, demand sensing, inventory optimization, demand planning, demand review, actually this SNOP demand, and then SNOP supply planning. So I can perform everything in my planning area, and for that I have created multiple templates. So one of the template is statistical forecasting. So if I click on this, then it will open an Excel which has key figures and other things. So let it come back. So you can see that this interface is called template. Okay, template or planning view, you can call anything. Belongs to this planning area, BSLUPAW1, and all such screens. So I will open another one. If I want to do supply planning, I will do supply plan heuristic. So that the new template which is going to get open now, that also belongs to the same planning area, but the Excel view, the planning view is different, because I have different key figures there. So you have seen there are 466 key figures associated with this planning area, but in my planning view or the template, I choose to keep only 4 or 5, which is relevant for the purpose for which I have created that template. So I have created this template for my supply planning. So that's why I have these key figures, which is indicating me transport receipts, stock on hand, etc. But the other template I created was for forecasting purposes. So that's why I have statistical forecast, total demand quantity, and all these things. Okay. So this is how it looks. This is how instead of creating multiple planning area, you can have one planning area, but you can have multiple templates or the planning views for the purpose of what you want to do in that template. Okay, so this is how it looks. You have seen the master data a little bit. You have seen, so everything SAP provides for us to begin with. Okay, so all these files, everything is coming from SAP, and we use this directly to start working on it. Key figure is there. So the planning view that I showed you right now, so 120 was there. So we got that 120 planning view from SAP. So it is coming, so it comes like this. So I just integrated this template to my planning area and it starts working. So it is very, very easy to work with IBP once you have some fundamental understanding, because everything is given by SAP. The text, the data, the way to work with IBP, everything is there. Okay. So I think I will take a pause and I can open this for any discussion that we want to make. But we covered the today's topic, which included the model configuration, which included a little bit of hands-on, what we're going to perform today, and also included the final point in IBP, how it looks, the Excel interface. So anybody has any question or anything to discuss? Praveen, you want to add anything?
Yes, I've shared a link for joining the teams also.
Okay.
The team which I've created in Teams. And I've uploaded the file. Can please anyone check in the file section in the Teams and can please confirm whether it is available? I have uploaded a zip file of 2005 setup, and that needs to be installed.
Yeah, the zip file is available.
Yeah.
Yeah, Praveen. This file is available in file section.
Right.
Okay. So Praveen, what all things have you uploaded? Can we see that? Or can I upload some of the things there?
Yes, you can also upload, Pankaj. You are the owner also, so you can also upload the files which you want to share.
Okay, so where is this there in this URL? No.
No, I've
Is there
in
another
the WebEx I have shared the link.
Okay, okay. This one. Okay, so what I will do, I will upload the hands-on task today here also, and I'll also send the email so that it is there. So the request to all of you will be that one, immediately create the ServiceNow request because it goes for approval and all that. So it will take time for installing the SAP IBP add-on to your Excel. So please do that. Secondly, please ensure to perform the hands-on the SAP node that I'm going to send across. It doesn't matter if you are getting error at the end, but ensure that you are creating attributes, master data. And while you are doing that, a sincere request that you must use the nomenclature starting with X and using your initials in the name of the entity that you create. All right. Okay. So good. We are right in time. So perform all these tasks today. If you are completely stuck, you can drop an email to myself and Praveen. As we will be busy in some other things, we may not respond immediately, but as soon as we get the time, we will be able to respond to you. Okay. So good luck with today's hands-on. Tomorrow we'll start with copying the sample SAP IBP 1 planning area. I'll start from that, and then we'll go through the process of demand planning and uploading the data and then doing the demand planning. So we'll perform those things tomorrow. All right. So thanks for joining. We'll connect tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, Pankaj, can you click on the Teams section in the left side because you're not able to see?
Okay.
Can you please provide the recording as well?
Yeah. Yes. Recording is being downloaded by our L&D team. So these recordings are currently recorded in cloud. So